crime stuff happening over the weekend, and some of that stuff kind of surprised me. If you're not already, I do recommend that you go check out some of ABC's information there, especially our local station affiliate, ABC 7. And there's some stuff I was just like, are you kidding me? And I don't know if you've seen it, Jesse, but it's just like, I don't know what's going on next. So if you want to follow them, it's ABC 7LA. Here's one: pickup truck riddled with bullet holes in officer involved fatal shooting. Did you see that one?
No, where was this? Please don't say California.
Actually, let me see. I didn't really look it up as much because I'm kind of like in one of those modes where it's like, do I really want to know, and do I want to kind of like be aware of what's going on around me? And yes, better to be aware than not. So let me just flash this up really quick for you guys to see. ABC 7's report here. Pickup truck riddled with bullet holes. Okay. Now, this is like the second thing that I've seen that has bullet holes all over the place. And it was a pickup truck with a lot of bullets. The investigators are working after a deadly officer involved shooting in Jurupa Valley. Two Ontario police cruisers appear to have pinned in the truck. Now detectives must piece together what caused officers to open fire. Of course, that information is still ongoing, and that was the case locally in our own neck of the woods, which, oddly enough, you can listen to us in those areas of Ontario. So we cover all of it. There you go. San Bernardino, Riverside, Palm Springs, and other places, of course, via our app. So make sure to download it. I saw that one. And then some of you may have seen some of the other stuff, which, I mean, you've got people like hurting each other, 6 dead, 9 injured after the Sacramento shooting. I know there's more information on that. That was a situation. If you hadn't seen that, that was crazy. That's one of those things you go, what next? And that was one where a lot of different videos are coming out all over the board. Video posted showed people running through the street as the sound of rapid gunfire could be heard in the background. Video showed multiple ambulances have been sent to the scene, and there's still information on that. So will they find them all? I say yes. I don't see how they cannot. But again, these things are kind of being, in a way, a little alarming to people that go, what is going on in our world, right? I know crime has picked up here in LA and San Bernardino. It's kind of leveled off, and Riverside's kind of been all right. And in San Bernardino, it's been, well, just kind of, it's one of those things where at least the police are doing something about it. But in LA, it's just like, who's doing anything about it? I know Orange County is a little bit on the scene as well. But the question is, what's going on with people, right? I know there's been a lot of robberies and, sledgehammer type thefts and things where people go, I don't even need a gun. I just need a sledgehammer. I'm like, boy, oh boy, that's the day we live in. So just be careful at the end of the day, right? And then you got people drunk driving. Oh no, this is horrible. Right, Jesse? What are you going to say?
Yeah, no. My stance on drunk driving is if you get a DUI, your driver's license should be stripped.
Thank you for saying that. Seriously.
There's no reason to drive drunk. There are apps, there are taxis, call a friend, walk,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. ABC 7LA posted this: 2 innocent people killed by a suspected drunk driver fleeing from police. Suspected driver from, again, our area, Rialto, killing 2 innocent people, investigators say. And you got comments all over the board on this. Miss Piggy Eats says, why is it always innocent ones that have to suffer or die because of these irresponsible and reckless people? So heartbreaking. Ugh. Itty Bitty Ladybug says, today my friend would have turned 50, but she was killed by a drunk driver the month after we graduated high school. Jen Love, 21, says, lost my brother this way. Too common nowadays, and people don't care until it's one of your own. And Enigma 951 says, sad, unfortunately, with how this state is ran, the drug driver will get a slap on the hands. And you know what? That's almost a situation that we've been kind of seeing as of late. I know there's been a lot of like hit and runs, and then of course some people will, maybe turn them in, and others don't turn them in. Others want to turn them in. You're like, what's going on next? But there's a lot of questions on that, and I say this: at least try to do as good a job as you can with what you do. Not everybody has the same opportunity, but drive responsibly. That's what we always say, especially to those that we know are hearing us on the radio in their vehicle, whether you're listening to us on the Alexa app. I know a lot of you have the Alexa and you say, hey, KMET 1490 AM, and you put us on your little favorites. We appreciate that. Some of you hook up your phone and you just listen to us and stream us that way, and you listen via our app, KMET 1490 AM, on both Android and iPhone. And a lot of people have their questions on that, but I say be careful. In the next following days, a lot of weirdness is coming up, especially with Russia. Let's go to our social media chat room. Camille says, good morning, Camille. Camille Cortez tuning in locally. Stephanie Reed says, hello, happy editing this glorious sunshine. Awesome, this busy day ahead for today. She's tuning with Rosalie Huerta Madrigal and others that are not coming up on my feed, but they need to. Ted says hello as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. And we got a lot of other things going on, Jesse. But the question of the day is, what is going on with the virus? Now, I will say this, a little update. I got my mom yesterday the latest shot. So the reason I got that was because she's in that, category of 50 and above, right? So there's a lot of people in that category of 50 and above. So the latest one, the Pfizer one, is the one that's out. But Moderna is out as well. Now, I will say this. We went to one pharmacy because she had to get some other medication as well. Again, she's diabetic, so she has that going against her, obviously. And anybody that has diabetes really needs to look carefully at one of these vaccines. Now, I will say this. If you qualify for it, you can get it now. But I will say this. We went to CVS, and CVS had only Moderna. Okay, so they were kind of like, Moderna, that's what we're going to do. So my mom said no, because we already agreed about it. We already talked about it. We already discussed it. We said Pfizer's the one. Okay, so we went down the street, went to the place that she went to originally, but they said that she originally got Moderna. Well, like I say, you have to look at your own record because some of these records are off. I don't know why they're off, but she didn't have her card with her, so she just said, well, I just need the latest one. I'm over 50. I qualify. They said, all right, that's fine. And when they looked up her information, they looked up their information. Part of it was right. It was weird that part of it was right as to where she was living, but the other part was not right about Moderna. And she's like, no, I didn't take Moderna. She's very adamant she didn't take Moderna because she doesn't want Moderna. Because at first they were going to say, we need to take Moderna. So she was adamant she needed Pfizer. So they gave it to her. That's the good news. But I will say this, know your records, because sometimes people get a little confused on what they took. So be aware of it. And be aware if you got sick, that's also something that maybe your body needs to kind of need to be aware of, because in the months ahead, there's probably going to be reports. There's already reports about Moderna and certain tests that were done on Pfizer in the first stage of 2021 that are coming out about certain things that were not all good. So if you're one of those, like I've always said, we've always said this on the show, if you're going to do it responsibly and know what symptoms there may be with some of these things. Now, I know the Pfizer was very early on the stage, but they've been out testing since, I think, November. I know in December, the president talked about it. We talked about this here on the show, and we said that it would come probably in March or April. Well, we're in April. Now, when will it be available for others? The information is still kind of there, but they'll probably be making it in the next probably, 3 to 4 weeks or so for the general public, right? So that's where we're going to have to say, all right, well, then who's next, right? And then there will probably be one at the end of the year, in fall of 2022. I usually just say, look, prepare for one in the spring and prepare for one in the fall, kind of like moving your time forward and backward, and then you'll be fine. Because these ones cover the most newest variant of at least OM1. That much we know. As for 2, 3, and 4, there's still information out there that they're not ahead of it because those came out in December, January, and February, and of course March, and they're barely getting that information. So certain vaccines take a while to get right, and then some of them take a while to get all the latest variants part of it as well. So that is kind of one of those things that actually is for all of them, right? But let's say you didn't get 2021 spring edition and or the fall edition. You go brand new with the new upcoming, Pfizer, Moderna one that's out. I don't know if Johnson & Johnson's coming out anytime soon, but let's say there was another one in Europe, right? The question of the day is, are they better than they were? I would say the answer is, well, that depends on the science of it all. But you got to get with somebody smart that understands the science. But if you got the most latest one, you don't go back to 2021 and get the very first one. You get the latest one. They don't have those ones on stockpile, which, by the way, I forgot about that. CVS said they don't have the freezers for the Pfizer one, which evidently they need freezers in order to keep it ready for everybody. But they basically sell out every single time. So they always get new, fresh batches. So you don't say, oh, hey, I want the 2021 edition of, the very first one, because that only covers several of the variants. It doesn't cover all the variants because it came out early. So that's the question of the day. How long is a shot for? It's not like, and this is why I have a problem with the way they call it booster, because a booster sounds like a dog. You know when you get a dog, the first set of shots, and then you get them the second set of shots, and then the third set of shots, and it's like a slow roll to immunity of a virus. That's the problem I have with them calling it booster, because it's not like you go from the very first one, then 6 months later you get the second one, and then 6 months later you get the third one. They don't work that way. They're the most recent ones. Kind of like Tylenol. Have you ever gotten an expired package of Tylenol, Jesse?
No, but I'm gonna assume you have.
I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, I've done it every now and then. But what do you do with that, right? So you just say, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take it, and hope for the best. Tylenol has a very long shelf life, by the way. I know a lot of people are like, well, there you go. But let's say it's from the 1980s, right? That's kind of the situation you have with certain vaccines. They've already kind of been expired. The first set, or the first spring of 2021, is kind of old news. It's kind of like a flu vaccine. Do you get a flu vaccine from 3 years ago ever, when the new flus are out now, which are all mutated from 3 years ago?
Yeah, that's a definite no.
There you go. And that's what I'm going with. So it's important for people to understand that's where we're at when it comes to vaccines. When you understand that, then you understand a lot more. But I've had this discussion with several people. They go, oh, yeah, that's true. Just like we keep saying, yeah, they have an expectancy of 4 to 6 months. Now, I will say this. They did ask my mom, when's the last time you had the last one? Because they have a minimum 4-month waiting stage. So if you got one, let's say, like my sister, okay? And, oh, by the way, we saw my sister yesterday, so she's doing well. I know many of you asked that. I appreciate the questions and asking how she's been, because she's been in the hospital several times. But she's better. But she got the last shot, the Johnson & Johnson, a little late. She was supposed to get it in November of 2021, but she got it in February. We're like, why are you guys delaying? But we know why, because they transferred her from home to home to home. So now she's in a home, or at least they're taking care of that. So they got it in February for her, okay? Now, when she got it, that means now she's at least a good 4 to 6 months with it. So the next shot that she'll need to get will need to be usually 4 months later. Does that make sense? Which is, let's see, February, March, April, May, June. So by July, she should probably have her second one when when it becomes available for, she's technically 3 years younger than me. So there you go. But the point is this. She will be available for that once that one kind of expires in her body. So they don't double load on that. Does that make sense? But I will say this. If she got OM1, would that shot be for OM1? The answer is no. The fall edition of 2021 is only for all the variants prior to the OM. So that's why you have to kind of do the math. You go, wait a minute. So you got to get the one with all the latest variants and OM. It's not just for OM. So that's the thing that you need to know about vaccines and how they work, okay? So I think it's important for people to kind of get that in their head so that they understand where they got to go next with that, and then you understand how they work. Because some of these pharmacies are a little confused, and I go, I think you're all confused. But, I just say, look, just give me the latest one. That's the one I want, and I qualify, and there you go. So, and for those questioning, yes, I got the Johnson & Johnson fall edition of 2021, and that's what I have. So, anyway, that's the question of the day. Are you ready for it? I know social media chat room is kind of lighting up there. Mark Blevins says, morning, get your vaccine coming very soon. Yeah, exactly. And again, 2, 3, and 4, and M, and then all these little double variants on top of each other. That's what this vaccine is more good for, because it's against and Delta, which sometimes are a combination of. I know you guys have been hearing about these combination strains. They've been referred to them as, what is XE, XM, or something like that? I think.
I don't know. They're coming out with these names, and I have no idea. I can't keep up with them.
Kind of the combo deals of Delta and right? And or I think there was a combo of something else. I can't remember what it was. But there's so many to kind of No, it's kind of like, oh my God. But just think mutation. When you think mutation, then you go, okay, we need to be safe. All right. All right. We need to take a quick little break. We got more information coming up around the corner. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We got MJ Gazman tuning in. Thank you. Mark Blevins, Mohammed Hossein Dayal tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Hi everyone, Dave Levine here. The Dave Levine Show is back on the air, 10 to 11 a.m. Wednesday mornings on KMET 1490. Join me for an hour of Law & Order stories and commentary. Law & Order is now the #1 issue for Californians. If you miss it live, you can hear or watch it 24/7 on either SoundCloud or Livestream. See you then. Thank you.
Can't you see with just a few seconds?
Mattress Brothers Overstock Mattress Sale. Just $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. $3.99. Check out Mattress Brothers $3.99 Overstock Sale. Mattress Brothers at 120 West Redlands Boulevard in Redlands. The $3.99 Overstock Sale is on now. $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. Mattress Brothers also has locations in Hemet, Riverside, and Palm Desert. The $3.99 queen pillow top sale on now.
Here's to your health with Joshua Lane. Ideas you can use to be healthy and stay healthy. The current thinking about beauty, fitness, and longevity. Every Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Wellness talk you can use. Here's to your health with Joshua Lane on KMET, naturally.
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, hdrinfo.com.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. There's a lot of stuff going on. I will say this, go have fun at the show, at least at the drive-in, right? Do so responsibly. Jesse, what's going on in the world?
Okay, so I was excited for Morbius, then the reviews flooded in.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the level with it. I probably won't watch it until streaming. I probably won't.
Oh, no. Tell me it isn't so. I've been wanting to see that, Jesse.
I know that's what I'm saying, but I'll probably watch it anyway. But, yeah, no, I just heard a lot of negative things about it.
Got it. Then I'm not going to be a fan. Man, I was hoping to see it. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to go see that. I'm going to have fun with it. I know it's kind of a little, like, dark. I know it's a little creepy, but I'm okay with it because at least he's a good guy, right? So did they kind of go like it was really off-the-wall, dumb entertainment, or was it, like, at least a little making sense? Is it not as good as Blade? Because I didn't expect it to be as good as Blade. I just expected it to be good. I mean, I know Jared Leto's a good actor, but...
The only thing my friend says is it's not what he expected. So I was like, I was a bit disappointed with that. So I was like, I don't like them spoiling stuff, so...
And he usually gets it right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I hate that. All right, I get that now.
Yeah, it's because apparently, like, a lot of the stuff that was in the trailer isn't in the movie.
All right, so they took certain liberties they shouldn't have?
Yeah, certain things like that. So I'm just like, I hate when they do that.
All right. Got it.
I'm just going to push that aside. I'm getting ready for this weekend, and I want to watch Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's my goal.
That does look good. I will say this, Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, was much better than I thought it would ever be. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, but well, you heard it here
Right.
first.
I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed too. I mean, I'm just gonna wait a little bit. I'll probably end up seeing it, just to be real, because I take people's judgments or opinions with a grain of salt. But usually people are right. I'm like, dang it. But like, if the vast majority of people are saying it's bad, then I'm assuming it's bad.
Yeah.
That's disappointing, though.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. Well, look, if you've seen it, let us know on social media because we kind of want to, figure out if it's worth seeing. I seriously was going to go see it maybe this weekend or Batman. So I was just planning. Maybe I was going to do a double header, with both of them. Kind of do that, DC Marvel thing. But now I'm kind of wondering if I should at all. I mean, it is interesting. Again, he's in both universes. One as Joker and the other as Morbius. I mean, think about it, right? You think about that, huh? I'm telling you.
I forgot that he played the Joker. I totally forgot about that movie.
Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of information in the news, including this, and I think it's interesting. And maybe I'm just thinking in a way that maybe you ladies can add some perspective. Okay, I kind of want to just. I kind of want to see what the ladies say on social media. All right, see how you view this. Former Playboy cover model Lisa Guerrero says secrets of Playboy changed the way she views her time working with the magazine. She said to Yahoo Entertainment, I dodged multiple bullets. Now, over the past 3 months, the docuseries examined Hugh Hefner's empire through a modern-day lens. For weeks, viewers have heard horrific allegations about what purportedly went on at the Playboy Mansion from Hefner's former employees and girlfriends. Many of the claims were levied at the publishing mogul. For Guerrero, who hosts tonight's special episode, she feels she dodged a bullet. She signed with Playboy models around age 20, and it was made clear she could quickly rise the ranks. Now, she recalls this. She said this, quote, when you signed with them, they encouraged you to go to the mansion for a movie night. Back then, I didn't drink. I was really naive, and I thought, wow, the Playboy Mansion, that's fake. And so I went, and I was so intimidated. There was all these older men, and I was really uncomfortable. Now, during her first visit to the mansion, Guerrero met Hefner, and he made quite the impression, which, I mean, that's his thing, right? That's what he's known for. So she said this. She said, I met Hugh Hefner, and he leaned in for a kiss, and I turned my head, and it was like a dog slobbering like an open-mouthed kiss. He seemed so old to me. Okay, so I'm going to hold there just for a minute. Okay, so what do you think happens next, Jesse? I mean, she's at the Playboy Mansion. Hugh Hefner gives her this wet, sloppy kiss. She says it's like a dog. But what do you think happens next?
Oh my God, I don't know. My mind is racing. I'm trying to think of what would happen. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. I got some of the ladies tuning in. They're going, I know they're judging because they always judge. All right, well, this is what she says. Again, I was naive. I looked older than I was. I was just really uncomfortable at the mansion. However, I discovered that they had a great buffet before the movie nights, and I was a struggling model actress. So I'm just going to say, how did she go from one to the next? And what would you ladies have done if that happened to you? Now, I will say this. There are some that go, well, they're in the power seat. They have the ability to make or break a career. Was she thinking that? Was it a situation? I don't know, right? So it's funny that she's talking about that now, about a dog slobbering. Would she have said that to his face? I just don't know. Because I know some ladies, like, if you have no money and that happens, guaranteed you're getting a slap. Right, Jesse?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Obviously, they only say these things when the person is either dead or they can't fight back.
Yeah, so I kind of wonder what happened there, right? Now, I get her recalling it, but I'm kind of wondering, like, what happened in between. Now, it says this. When Guerrero returned for another movie night, she brought with her empty Tupperware containers. She says this. When all these people went into the screening room for movie night, I put a bunch of food into my Tupperware and snuck out before the old men came out to hit on the girls. So she went back? Do you understand where I'm going with this, Jesse?
She knew what was going on, but she went back. Yeah, of course they do.
She said, about the third time I did that, she went back a third time? A woman came out of the kitchen, and I thought I was busted. I thought they were going to kick me out. But what she was really doing was giving me pre-packaged to-go containers with the food in, and she said, you don't have to bring Tupperware next time. Yeah, I get that. They're very much that. While it was a nice gesture from Hefner's staffer, Guerrero now realizes how creepy the whole thing was. How long did that take for you to figure out? You're at the Playboy Mansion. What do you think was on there? So I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this with some of the lays. I guarantee it. Let's see. Rosalie says I would have gagged. Exactly. Thank you for being honest about that. Let's see. She says now I know it's because they had hidden cameras everywhere. I learned that from the series, so that's how I got busted. Oh, Guerrero stopped going to the mansion, but did some modeling for Playboy lingerie. Yeah. She said she was asked to pose as a centerfold for Playboy for years, which she turned down as she wanted to be taken seriously and pursue a career as a journalist. Soon her career took off as a sportscaster, but Playboy and Hefner were still interested. Finally, at the urging of her husband, she agreed to do a celebrity cover at age 40, so it didn't stop her, huh, Jesse? Oh, man.
Right? As long as it helps their career or money, it doesn't matter. They'll suffer through that. Ugh. I mean, yeah, I already know. I can't even imagine all the gross stuff that's happened inside that mansion.
She says she remembers her husband saying, "You're 40, you're Latina. Like, how many 40-year-old Latinos are on the cover of Playboy? You know, Cindy Crawford's done it. Halle Berry, she was featured on a cover in January 2006, which prompted Inside Edition, her future employer, to do a story about her. Then she said, then a couple weeks later, they offered me a 2-year contract as a West Coast correspondent for the show. That grew into my dream job because a few years later, I was promoted to chief investigative correspondent. So what I've been doing ever since has been my dream job." Guerrero says she used to laugh about how funny it was, how she used Playboy. They didn't use me. I don't really understand that, but you know what? Hey, if you got money, you can slobber like a dog and be all right with it. You know what I mean? I don't think we could do that, Jesse. I don't think it's in our cards.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like making out with an old dude. No.
I'm glad you said that. I wouldn't want to see you making out with an old dude, Jesse.
know.
But I wouldn't
Really?
even contemplate that. I mean, an old lady I would go with, but I would. I mean,
Money talks.
I don't judge, Jesse. I don't judge. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Seriously, Hugh, the people that talk about you after you're dead.
When it comes to health and well-being, cellular hydration is the key. You could say that hydration is the key to every wellness program. And structured water in its natural state, is the key to cellular hydration. Most of the water available to us has been processed for purity, safety, and convenience. But processing water to lose its natural hexagonal structure with unfortunate effects for our bodies. Now you can take your personal hydration to a whole new level with the glassware that restructures water in just 3 minutes. Golden Ratio Products brings you these amazing water bottles, carafes, and drinking glasses which put the life back into the water you drink. Try it and you'll be amazed at the effects you feel in your body. Go to goldenratioproducts.com for the next phase of your water consciousness.
Ruth didn't know she was leaving for good. She knew he would kill her. Could she save herself? Did she feel she was worth saving? How could she best protect her children? To love, honor, and betray, Ruth Tunnicliffe shares her true tale. From submissive to survivor, then thriver. Now living a proud, purposeful life. As an optimistic, inspiring, peaceful warrior. Can a person heal from feeling the guilt of a decision altering many lives? Weighted by living grief, moving through lessons learned, self-discovery, and land in self-love? Can someone who's been abused in every way move to self-trust, confidence, and arrive at living in peace? To love, honor, and betray, a sincere, honest letter. To herself and her adult children, Ruth Tunnicliffe shares her story so that others may also find the inspiring, peaceful warrior within. Amazon worldwide, Barnes & Noble, RuthTunnicliffe.com.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com, licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Rosalie Huerta Madrigal says, money or money? I think she means money or no money. Yeah, money or no money, it would have a natural and immediate reaction. At least from her, it would have. So there you go. Evidently, she's like, I cannot be bought for $1 million. Although I know women that would say otherwise, and they would say they're okay with it. Right, Jesse?
What about $1 billion?
Oh, dun dun dun! Slobbery kiss, let it come. I think Betty would say. I think even guys would say that, right? I don't know. There you go. Anyway, all right. So lots of questions there, lots of statements, and yeah. All right. There's a lot of questions about COVID and the latest variants XE, and I forget the other one. I think is it XM, or am I just thinking of like putting all these together? I don't know. The X one, right? Don't let it get a hold of you. That's the thing, because it's basically a conglomeration of viruses. So you got all kinds of symptoms that are going to come from that. So if you have a situation, make sure to get tested. Now, I will say this. I tested for the very first time for COVID, Jesse, but I had to because they require it to see my sister at the home that she's at. So they made me take a test and my mom take a test, and to again prove it, although I say there's ways around it, but we didn't do ways around it. It's kind of like an honor system, right? But we took the test. So it's one of those self-administered tests. And my mom actually said that her nose was burning. I was like, I wonder if there's something on the little swab that goes in your nose that is like something that she's allergic to. You know what I mean? Because she's like, yeah, my nose is burning after it. And I was like, that's weird. Did you put the fluid like in your nose? She goes, no, I just did a little swab, and then my nose kind of like burned a little. I'm like, I think you're allergic to something on that swab, right? So I have a question on that, but she's fine. Something like, she flared up with stuff, but you have questions about that. It's like, well, I don't know. Have you done any one of those self-administered tests, Jesse? They're like really quick, 15 minutes.
No. That's the ones where you stick like a Q-tip or something in your nose, right?
It's actually not that bad. Yeah, it doesn't go all the way. It doesn't go up like past it's like cleaning out your boogers and then putting it into a little fluid and then mixing it up, putting it onto a strip. Now I understand what pregnancy tests are like, and I never knew. And then you just drip it. It's really quick and fast. And you drip it into the little little container. There's a little opening. You drop little 1, 2, 3 little drops, and then it kind of floods over into the strip. And then you have the little one line. And then if you get a faint line, that means you may have it. And then if you get a solid line, you definitely have it. And then it proves that you have COVID. I tested negative, obviously, but I knew I didn't have it because I've been very safe about it. But again, as a way to be proactive, not to give it to anyone at my sister's home, we had to take this test, again, 2 days prior to seeing her and or any of the staff members. So as everybody knows and or doesn't know, my sister has special needs, so she's in an adult home. So she has a staff to take care of her 24/7. And we got to meet the staff member who takes care of her. She's very happy there. We took her a little bit of something from Jack in the Box, strawberry shake, and my sister enjoyed it. So I'll be posting some pictures of her later. I know many of you have been asking. Again, I say thank you for even thinking about her, and thank you for thinking about anybody that has a situation where they are in an adult home. But I will say this, do ask if you have a special needs child and you have been unable to see your family member for all this time. I will say my mom has not seen my sister ever since coronavirus started, because what people don't know that don't have special needs children in homes is they have not been able to see them for like the last year and a half. When California went on lockdown, the system of what they call regional centers kind of went on lockdown for all the people, so nobody could go visit their kids. And you can see it from afar, but that's if your kid was able to actually kind of see you and notice you from afar. Now, my sister was a little bit better. She hasn't seen us for all this time. It took her a little while because we had our face masks on. So when we went outside and then we were able to kind of, remove our face mask, she goes, there you are. And then it was like Yeah, she saw her mom for the very first time over like a year and a half, seriously. Because anytime we show ourselves to her, she's like, okay, let's leave. She thinks it's time to go down to, Jamba Juice or Denny's and have some food. But that's what we used to do before coronavirus. That isn't what we've been able to do up until as of yesterday, which now we're like, you know what, we're just going to leave it very simple. We're going to go ahead and take food, prove that we don't have coronavirus, just take the test 2 days prior to whatever we see her, and we're probably going to do it every other week. But my mom used to see her every single Saturday, so it was a habitual thing for my sister to see my mom all the time. So I know there was a lot of missing in between, and so you could see it in my sister. She was just kind of like mindful, like, oh, she felt at ease, and my mom felt at ease, being able to see my sister for very much the first time in a very long time. And remember, my sister got coronavirus twice. All right. Now, I will say this. I saw a friend over the weekend that I hadn't seen in quite a while. I think over like 8 years or so. And she was like, oh, coronavirus isn't real. I'm not going to get the vaccine, whatever. And it was weird, I'm not going to lie, because half of me wanted to say, like, what is wrong with you? And at the very end, I said, well, my sister almost died of coronavirus. Like, I know it's very real. But I didn't put it in a way where it was like a dividing thing with us. So we spent a good, 4 hours just shooting the breeze, catching up on stuff, because we go way back to being, teenagers, right? But in the middle of it, I was like, what are you doing? She's like, don't wear your face mask. Stop wearing your face mask. Don't wear your face mask. And I'm like, no, you sound like a person that wants me dead. I don't think so. And she didn't understand what I always say about coronavirus. It's very real. But she lives in an area where it's kind of not real to people, in Bakersfield. So in Bakersfield, there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, but whatever. I got it, but I'm better, or I'm not sick, right? So in other words, it's kind of like, oh, it's not that big of a thing. But I say this, with the variants that are coming out, they're really strong. And if you haven't buried somebody, and I buried literally 3 people with coronavirus, plus I've known people that have died from coronavirus. We have a lot of friends on social media. I will tell you right now, a lot of friends are not on social media anymore because they died. Okay, we have a lot of friends on social media. Now, some people don't have that many friends. They have maybe 100, maybe 80, maybe 50, maybe 60. I don't really know. But if you have a lot of friends, chances are, especially if they're in LA, you're going to find out somebody that has had coronavirus and died from it, right? But if you don't get or keep up with everybody, you probably are going to kind of be in that little bubble of not even real. Now, there are cities where it's not as much. And she said, well, there was only one that died in Bakersfield. I go, I think the numbers are off, but all right. And she doesn't watch the news anymore. So it was kind of a little bit of a disappointing thing for me to kind of see that, because I'm kind of like, yeah, but what if you get coronavirus in the next 3 months? And you get sick of it. And I mean, you don't get sick of it, hearing it. You get sick from it, right? Then you're going to have a problem, and your family's going to have a problem. Your other family's going to have a problem. Everybody's going to have a problem. You understand? Because then you might end up in the hospital. So I kind of said it very briefly, but I didn't make it a big deal because I don't want to cause a division or a dividing line between us. That way, at least she keeps an open mind. Because if one of her family members does get sick, guess what she's going to say eventually about the face mask, Jesse?
I don't know.
Oh, God, I was wrong.
What? That what she was saying?
Oh, God, I was wrong. Because that's what we've seen throughout the year, right? We've seen ones that say it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. Media people have said it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. And then they get sick. Some of them die. Some of them say, I wish I would have known the right thing to say, because now I'm here suffering from it, and I now know coronavirus is real. So never get to that point. All right, don't be the naysayer that goes, oh shoot, I was a naysayer, now I don't want to be a naysayer, now I want to tell everybody that it's real, because there are those people out there, right? But you may not be connected to them, but they may be connected to others, and at least now they say to people, no, people, this is real. That's why usually they take to social media, and you've heard it so many times, you're like, all right, whatever. But when it's somebody that you know personally, you say, oh boy. Or they say, please pray for me, I'm struggling. Or please this, and this, because they're in the hospital all by themselves in ICU. Or maybe they're not even in ICU. Maybe they're not even on social media because they're that bad. Maybe they're intubated. That's where we're going, people, because this is the latest news about COVID. And the latest one, which we've been talking about, is in Shanghai, okay? Now, this one is the one that we talked about as of last week, how China went into lockdown mode, and they did kind of a two-phase situation. Well, since then, the outbreak in China's Shanghai remains extremely grim amid an ongoing lockdown confining 26 million people to their homes. director of Shanghai's Working Group on Epidemic Control, Hongwei, was quoted by state media saying that the outbreak in the city was still running at a high level. Extremely grim. China has sent more than 10,000 health workers from around the country to aid the city, including 2,000 for mass testing residents, some of whom have been locked down for weeks. Now, for those of you thinking, oh, this is coronavirus, it's normal, whatever, you have to remember why they're naming them as variants. Now, again, I say, just like hepatitis A, B, and C, they should just say this is coronavirus E, right? Or coronavirus G, or coronavirus H. These are the ones impacting the mind of these in China. But is it in Europe? The answer is yes. So they're starting to see the numbers kind of amass in a really bad way. Now, do you think China wants to go in a lockdown? The answer is no. Take that number, 26 million people, confine them to their homes again, and what do you think you're going to get, Jesse?
Yeah, you're, what's the word? I don't know. I can't think of it right now.
You're going to get them upset, right? You're getting a lot of people not to work anymore. You're getting them all like, oh, great, here we go again. But at the end of the day, China's kind of used to it, I have to say. They're not as big of protesters as they are here in the States. But again, you know, China kind of goes at their people very hard. So when you're locked down. But here we are again, almost 2 years from the time we first went in lockdown. This is the problem with the virus. So the question of the day is this: what's going to happen next? Obviously, they'll be all right to go back to work and go back, you know, to what they're doing eventually, but it's not happening right now because the numbers are massive. They've reported more than 73,000 positive infections since the resurgence of the contagious variant. But now there's more information about new strains of this variant that are kind of causing them more concern because they really don't understand it. They like to clump it all into maybe 2, but they're not understanding it. And now 2 has kind of been around for a while, Jesse, in China and Asia and in certain areas of the world. But the rise of it now, especially in, let's see, we're now in April, right? With, spring being here, right? The question of the day is what happens next. Now, again, this is information that's coming in very fast about how they're extending the lockdown. So that means everybody that went shopping, everybody that was out there, basically they're back to the way it was in 2020. That's not good for us here in the States. As I said, in 2020, around the same time, I said follow what happens in China because China will eventually go to Europe, and Europe will usually go to New York, and New York will usually go here. So the question of the day is, will we do the same thing as we did in 2020? The answer, I don't know. I don't feel we will because the administration now is so war-oriented, they're not focusing on the top 8 things that they should focus on. They're not focusing on the financials, they're not focusing on keeping people safe, and they're not focusing on things that they need to focus on as an administration. This is the problem. And this is the problem that I know new people that are going to want to run for president are going to have at. Because as an administration for government, you need to focus on the top 8 things. They need to focus at least on the top 3. 1, coronavirus. Now, they have a bill out for it. It's not enough. They need at least another $1.3 trillion. Now, as far as the financials, they don't have enough for renters and landlords and people that are going to lose their when it is here. Okay, now, the good news is when I went to the mall, a good majority, I would say about anywhere from 40 to maybe 50% were actually wearing a face mask, right? Not all were, but a good majority were, right? And some are wearing those nice little black ones. And my mom said, can we get a black one? I said, only if it's an N95. I'm still big on that. I know the fashion part of it, but N95s are easier to breathe in than some of these cloth ones that you guys make at home or that you buy around the corner. So be aware of that and be aware that it's still here. Don't play up into the mind mentality of, oh, it's not real. Oh, it's fake. We have gone through 2020. We have gone through 2021. We are now here in 2022. Do you remember the people that have died with it? And if you don't know anybody, just post it somewhere and say, who knows somebody that died from COVID? And then you'll find very quick that there's a lot of people that have that, but they just haven't been speaking about it. They haven't been talking about it. But I feel we need a resurgence of that because with 1 million dead here in the States, how can you not know somebody? Even like 3 degrees of separation, right, Jesse?
Right? I mean, you'd have to live in a bubble to not know somebody that hasn't been affected by COVID.
even my friend, I had to say, like, it's like, yeah, but my sister almost died from this, and she was one of the very first in February of 2020. She got it twice. We tried to prevent it 3, 4, 5 times, right? And we did, thankfully, just by dodging a bullet, because several of the other homes that she could have gone to that she didn't go to because we kind of like dragged her knees on it. I'm glad we did. She would have gotten it a third time, all right? And I don't know if she would have died from that one, but we're trying to keep her safe. We're trying to keep my mom safe, and we're trying to keep the people we love safe. That way, they could see another day. That way, they could see another month. That way, they could see another year. And hopefully, the next 3 years will be behind us eventually. But I say prepare for the worst and then expect the best. But we don't have the best yet. We're not there yet. Now, with war, what's happening there? Now, the administration is focusing on war. Obviously, they need to. Obviously, they need to keep people safe. But we need to keep people safe, well, where? You've got people in Ukraine. We need to keep people safe there. We need to keep people safe in 3 other countries, and they're all coming up very fast. North Korea is back in the news with South Korea. They're making certain claims, and it's kind of going, whoa, 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 what's going on now? There's certain conglomerations of countries kind of amassing together. You've got China saying, well, we'll see what happens. Some say, no, they're going to be out with it. I say, watch out, because Russia, China, India, and, yes, North Korea are all something you need to watch out for in the next coming weeks. Because if they amass together, then we have World War what? So that's the question of the day. The question is, where do we go with this? Now, will the administration do the right thing? I say, I don't know. I keep waiting for them to do the right thing, but don't lose priority. Priority is people here. Priority is people around the world. So how do you keep people safe? You got to do what makes sense for coronavirus. Unfortunately, it's a thing. We don't want to call it a friend. We want to call it an enemy, and we want to treat it as such. We want to stamp it out. Like certain countries, they've stamped it out. If they have a strain, they all of a sudden do the right thing, and they do a quick lockdown. Usually, honestly, no more than like 8 days or so, right? Because they stamp it out as quick as possible. Why can't we do that? I know, I get it, financials, paying bills, and all that. They've made allowances in the past because we're in a pandemic. There's a reason we're in a pandemic. There's a reason there are emergency funds. There's a reason there are emergency fuel. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, they're starting to release those for everybody, and now maybe the price will go down a little. Anyway, look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to continue a little bit more of a discussion with you guys in social media. I know I got to let Jesse at the radio station go. We appreciate you guys tuning in to KMET 1490 AM. Remember, there's a lot of things to talk about. Remember to love each other and appreciate each other and call your loved ones. Say, hello, how you been? Let's have lunch. Distance-wise. Yeah, that. Bye. Now, for the rest of you, I want to say, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Stephanie Reed says, I know my sister and her husband got COVID twice. She's against the vaccine. Over the weekend, she had kept her pregnancy a secret from the whole family. Oh, no. They got it twice, and she's against the vaccine? Probably because she survived. I will say this. Sometimes there's a little bit of a thing, which people think if they survived, they'll survive every single time. But here's the problem with variants. Variants get worse over time, all right? Now, of course, it may be in your body, but will your body be able to heal from all the variants? And the problem with getting it twice is, well, if you get it a third time, what's going to happen the third time? Now, some would say, well, I'm more immune than not. The answer is, well, that depends on the variant. Some of these variants strike in a way that they strike different parts of the body differently. So if you have a pre-existing condition, guess what? It exasperates the situation, right? I already told you guys that thing about the liver and or the kidneys. Yeah, exasperated the person. She was only 28 and she had that problem. But that problem wouldn't have been a problem if coronavirus didn't enter her blood and then create the problem for her liver and then create a problem so that she vomited blood and wouldn't have created a problem where she died and we had to bury her, right? So it exasperates the situation of certain problems you may already have. Now, a lot of people don't really know what they have until they have a problem. They don't know what the situation is until they need to know. But some of you are not going to the doctor. Some of you are not understanding what's in your body. And some of you don't even know you have, a pre-existing condition. So I would say this to anyone listening. Be aware of what's coming next, okay? There is a bad virus coming, all right? It's Om. And Om is so different. It is so, I don't know if I want to use that word, but I'll use it. It's not as obvious as the others, okay? it's a secret one, all right? And the reason I say that, one of them they say it's stealthy. Well, basically it's stealthy because it lasts longer before it shows symptoms. That's why it has a longer incubation period. When you have a longer incubation period, you have a problem over time. That means you're going to infect a lot of people when you have it because you're not going to know that it's with you in the moment that it's with you. So yeah, you may get other people sick. Now, who's at risk? Maybe you're young and vibrant and healthy. You don't have any pre-existing conditions. But what about your neighbor? What about your family member? What about your friend? What about the one that you say, hey, why don't we slobber on each other like Hugh Hefner did on that bottle, right? The question is, are you going to be safe through it all, right? You kind of take your matter into your own hands. And that's the question of the day. Will you take the matter into your own hands with your own family, right? Now, I know a lot of you have sons, a lot of you have daughters, a lot of you have people that you care about, okay? Because if you care about them in a way that you say, me first, me first, me first, well, then you won't care about them eventually, right? You'll just say, well, at the end of the day, if we all die, we'll all die, and we'll see each other hopefully on the other side. Why go that way when you could just do the right thing here and now, right? I'm not saying we won't survive. We will survive. It's obvious. I'm not saying the people in Ukraine are going to survive because they are getting bombed left and right? So we have them to think about, right? They're our friends, our neighbors, our family members, and our friends. It could be like 3 degrees of separation. You don't know. So there's going to be a lot of people needing help, right? Now, speaking of which, let's switch the news over to Russia because Russia, there's a lot of things happening there. A lot of people don't know where it's going next, right? Now, there's been things that have been actually kind of positive in that way. And a lot of people are saying, well, it looks like they're kind of holding fast and they're kind of staying steady and they're kind of doing what they need to do. But others are kind of going, well, what happens next? Now, here's the situation. And I've talked to this with several people. China, okay? China is a situation which is kind of a thing that we all need to watch, all right? Now, I'm going to go into something about North Korea. But remember, in geography, where everything is. When you understand where everything is, then you understand why it's all happening, okay? China, North Korea, and Russia, they're all very in close proximity to each other, right? So here's the latest about Korea. And I know we've talked about Korea in the past, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? And we never really give it all that much because we just go, he's going to do what he does. He always does what he does. He always throws missiles into the sea. We don't know where he's going with these things. We don't know. They're isolated away from everyone. We don't know. But when Russia does what Russia does, who do you think is neighbors to them that say, you know what, if you need help, fine, we'll help you out? Well, here's the problem. For the second time this week, the powerful sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un berated South Korea for touting its supposed preemptive strike capabilities against the North, saying her country's nuclear forces would annihilate the South's conventional forces if provoked. What? How did this happen all of a sudden? In a statement carried this morning by North Korea's state media, Kim Yo-jong called South Korea Defense Minister Soo Wook's recent comments about preemptive strikes a fantastic daydream. Basically, they're kind of going back at each other. And the hysteria of a lunatic. I'm not going to lie, that sister freaks me out. Have you seen her? Seriously, she's freaky. She stressed that North Korea doesn't want another war on the Korean Peninsula, but warned it would retaliate with its nuclear forces if the South opts for preemptive strikes or other attacks, which would leave the South's military little short of total destruction and ruin. Those are big words. I'm not going to lie. She has the ability to do it. I mean, guaranteed, her and brother are a little weird over there. North Korea has repeatedly stated it would preemptively use its nuclear weapons when threatened by rivals as it accelerates its development of nuclear bombs and missiles, which Kim Jong-un sees as his strongest guarantee of survival. Survival? Who's talking about survival? Who's bombing you yet? In another statement directed towards Soo on Sunday, Kim Yo-jong, the sister, called him a scum-like guy and warning that the South may face a serious threat because of his comments. Maybe not the sister. I don't know. I get all these names confused. Her statements come amid tensions over North Korea's accelerating weapons tests this year, including its first test of an intercontinental ballistic missile since 2017 on March 24th as her brother, I was right, revives nuclear brinkmanship aimed at pressuring Washington to accept the North as a nuclear power and remove crippling sanctions. Some experts say that the North may up the ante in the coming months, possibly test flying missiles over Japan or resuming nuclear explosive tests. Oh, great, here we go. As it tries to get a response from the Biden administration. I'm telling you, they cannot even focus on just one thing. Seriously, they only focus on 3 things. Are they at least focusing? Oh, they are finally. Okay, which is distracted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and an intensifying rivalry with China. Yeah, they're focusing on China, North Korea, and Russia now. They're not even focusing on coronavirus. That's the problem. That's where we're at right now, people. So basically, you got to protect yourself. As one person said, it is not the government's responsibility to take care of you. It's you to take care of you. And that is true, more than you know. Let's see. The renewed tensions have been a major setback for outgoing South Korean President Moon Jae-in, a dovish liberal who had staked his presidential term on his ambitions for inter-Korean rapprochement. Again, I did not write this. I'm reading this from ABC. I would not call them liberal. They're very just trying to figure it out. During a visit to the country's Strategic Missile Command last week, Su said South Korea has the ability and readiness to launch precision strikes on North Korea if it detects the North intends to fire missiles at South Korea. I know we've been talking about this before, but boy, oh boy, Ukraine, Russia, what have you done? Seoul has long maintained such a preemptive attack strategy to cope with North Korea's missile and nuclear threats, but it was highly unusual for a Moon administration official to publicly discuss it. So here's the situation as we see it. North Korea, Russia. Yeah. They want to do something with nuclear. This is not the first time we talked about nuclear. Now, anyone that knows Kim Jong-un knows North Korea has talked about nuclear for quite some time. It's not new, right? We all kind of know that. But is everybody kind of getting into bed with each other going, hey, let's invade and just do what we got to do? Because, I mean, maybe he's getting inspired by Russia invading Ukraine. Is that a possibility? I say yes. And I hate to say that, but it's happening. So here's what I would say. North Korea is a situation happening right now. Administration, take care of it. Seriously, just do what you need to do. Say, hey, by the way, what are we going to do? Because now it's getting out of hand. All right, now, here's the problem. If Korea has a problem with South Korea, now you're going to have a problem with everybody. Because now, well, guess what? Everybody's at war with everybody, and major states are having a problem. Do you understand? Yeah, I know. Some don't. Some will. That's the problem we see happening right here, right now. So, if you know somebody in Korea, say this. I love you, but you need to get out of Dodge, man. Get out of that area, seriously, because this is going to be a really bad situation in the next few weeks. Now, do I want it to be a bad situation? No. Am I saying it because there's certain things forming right here, right now on the soil of Korea? The answer is yes. So, be aware of it. It's going to happen in the next few weeks. I hope not. I want it not to. But if it does, be aware of it, all right? China has a situation, and at least they're taking care of their people. Now, I would say, if you're going to follow anybody right now, follow China. Because China is actually focusing on coronavirus. Now, are they focusing on the war? Well, technically, they're focusing on more than 3 things. They're focusing on, 8 things. All right, they're focusing on the financials. They're focusing on coronavirus. They're focusing on war. No, don't think that they're not. They're focusing on military. They're upping their military 100%, especially with this news, because, I mean, Korea's right there. It's like, hello, Fallout. But nobody discusses Fallout. Isn't that weird? Fallout, hello, Fallout, nuclear. You know, it's almost like the generation of today doesn't even know the word Fallout, right? I mean, if you ask your little loved ones, you say, do you know what Fallout is? They go, did you fall out of something? Are you falling out of your car doing a dance? I know, it's a thing, but my point is this. We want to make sure to be safe through it all. So here's the thing that I suggest. Be aware of the next few days of what is happening with North Korea. If North Korea accelerates what they're doing, then we all need to be aware of what's happening next, okay? North Korea, South Korea, China. That's how it rolls, all right? When China gets involved, they're going to have to take a side. What side do you think they're going to take? Question of the day, is it North Korea, South Korea, and or Russia? Or does China just say, oh, we're going to protect ourselves away from all of you guys? Well, that would be kind of not the bad thing to do. I mean, you're taking care of your people. Take care of the people, put the people first, keep them safe, and then now, should you do that if you're Korea? Yes, especially South Korea, seriously. Just back down, seriously. Don't accelerate the situation. It's a war of words. We've been there before. We've been there with, the other administration. We all know them. Words are words are words, but don't do it with missile, all right? Do it in a debate, but don't do it with missile. Do a debate team. Do North Korea against South Korea in debate. I would head up that debate. In fact, I would debate all of them. I'd be like, you know what? Let's just have this debate out in the open. Because these war of words is getting really bad when you put people in the middle with lives and babies and kids and children and wives and honeys and lovers and non-lovers and side chicks and side people and whatever you want to call them, right? We're all just trying to stay alive, people. Why are you the ones putting everybody in harm's way? Why is it only the select few that do this to the mass? Are you the mass? I feel you're the mass. You're the mass. You're the mass that say, I'm not the one making these decisions. Who are the people making these decisions? Seriously. Seriously, I think we need like a superhuman alien to come down and save the human race. But we don't have that. So since we don't have that, we kind of help. We have to help ourselves. So let's help ourselves, yeah? All right. So let's spread the word of good. Let's spread the word of, yay, it's going to be awesome eventually. But let's get through this crazy. So focus on the people that you know, focus on the people you love, and stay safe. All right, people? Anyway, that's my rant for the day. That's what I'm going to say, and that's all I'm going to say for now. So stay blessed, people. Stay good for one another, and stay safe, all right? And be aware, North Korea. Yikes. Bye-bye, everybody.